Charles is leading the Oppenheimer Project. And this is a project that's advocating for peaceful use of fission for energy projects and international cooperation for representing the family and values of Robert Oppenheimer. And recently we have movie Oppenheimer, so probably you're familiar with the content and a historic persona of Robert Oppenheimer. So I think it's very timely. And Charles' background includes more than 25 years of Silicon Valley tech entrepreneurship, management, and impact investment. Charles, why does nuclear deserve more investment focus? And you have some initiatives, so can you tell more about the work you already started and why nuclear now?
So it's a very exciting time for nuclear energy. Representing the Oppenheimer family, I love to tie in the values of my grandfather, which was about international cooperation around scientific matters and potential threats. And fission is an example of that, one of the most important things we could cooperate on. And it seems like there's an opening right now where we can rally around that idea that we could get anything done in the world right now. And nuclear energy doesn't have really a science problem as much as a financing and project problem. There's lots of new technology in the pipeline that's exciting, and there is early stage investment and there's early stage funding for new sources of technology. But what you see, there's different countries, but let's use the US for an example. There's over $300 billion in assets available by the DOE to apply to a project, but the DOE as a government cannot start a plant and finance it all. So even when there's a lot of money there in general, you need some like catalytic investment, and there's a place for bringing together public and private partnership to kick it off at this stage, not just the long-term investment in technology, which is happening, but projects that once started could make a financial return. And our next two panelists are like the world experts at this, like how you actually finance a plant, and we'll go into some of those efforts. And I'm excited to kind of donate the name to people who could work with me to help raise the capital and say, hey, the Oppenheimer values support this. Let's use it to kind of bring more capital into the space using public and governmental efforts.
What are the trends in new kinds of financing that make it easier to find large nuclear projects? And that actually returns to Dale's point on appetites for return and how to make it attractive. Right now we invest short-term getting into game only if we expect return in a year or 5. But with nuclear, it usually takes a decade before we get anything back. So with alternative financing and this like new trends, how we can instill those money coming into nuclear sector, giving those returns coming not so soon?
I'll just recognize the difficulty level of your question, Dinara, because you said, what are the new trends that are helping finance large nuclear projects? It's very difficult, right? Like even for nation states, Poland recently has had a great successful large nuclear project. And even them, they put out a small news release. I don't know if you're familiar with that, saying, can somebody come up with another 30% of $20 billion? So it is a difficult thing. UAE did an amazing job. They put all the money down and built a plant. That's innovative. But where can we come in between? The points made on the panel that if we can bring family office money and philanthropic and catalytic and even government to get the next one going and just say, let's put in, 2 billion of the 10 billion to prove that you can do one more large nuclear plant. I would look forward to that kind of vehicle that's in between governments and utilities and can kind of assume more risk.
As an investor, experienced, seasoned investor from Silicon Valley, so we just touched the question about technology, SMR, and other types of things related to nuclear. What do you think you would invest? Like if you had unlimited funds, what technology you think would succeed and you want to invest right now and want everyone to motivate to invest more?
So it's interesting. I have technology and software background, and a way that you do a startup is the fastest cycles with the newest technology, with the most iterations. And when I came over to nuclear and want to promote it with the family name and look at what the biggest problems are, and my background in venture investing, I found that's not what I was drawn to. Just seems like there is capital going in on the venture side already that's handled. I mean, I think it's an important problem, but it seems like the big gap is not that sector of investment. It's bringing those, including existing reactors, to your failure point. The best thing that you can do for these large projects is redo the same thing over and over and learn exactly from the previous project. What did you learn? And get it 40% cheaper. So I found myself seeing a big space for large projects and bring infrastructure and venture investment. And even though I don't have the background in that, I'm making friends who do and coalesce capital around chasing large projects. The smaller, newer groups of SMRs, there's amazing new technology in the pipeline, but I think those are also 5 and 10 years out. And to get to net zero, we need a portfolio of large projects now with proven technology and new projects with new technology.
Can you elaborate or start a little bit on what areas in policymaking, specific areas that we need to advance to make sure that nuclear development gets enough support?
I think there could be an opportunity right now with this recent announcement and reclassification of gathering up some capital in an international fund that specifically is coming from multiple countries, which promotes cooperation, and then deploying it in the countries that are most likely to be able to build faster. That's not necessarily the United States. So that's an exciting prospect. We just said we're going to triple energy. We've got 5 or 10 countries. I've thought about flying around to those countries and say, all right, how much would you like to put in a global fund?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, our panelists.
Thank you.